What's up, people? What we doing? Where we at? How we feel living? I'm out here editing in the garage. Let me give you guys a little insight what's going on. Welcome back, by the way, to the garage. Gerald with you. It must be award season because it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm doing a live stream, but I'm in North Carolina, and this like I know a lot of the country like from the Midwest over is basically like snow, ice, whatever, winter weather. Well, in North Carolina, it doesn't matter if it's like a foot or like a centimeter. They cancel the state. The state shuts down, and schools definitely don't go. So my kids are home yesterday, today, and they just canceled for tomorrow. We went out to the grocery store earlier and to McDonald's for lunch, and it was bone dry. We're talking like it was Surratt, okay, out there. And they canceled school tomorrow. Anyway, so that's why I'm available in the middle of the day, but I got to figure something out. My wife's in California this week. It's crazy, so I don't know what I'm going to do about work tomorrow, but whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. However, I was out here editing in the garage, and I'll get to your comments. I hear some people showing up over there. And I went real quick on my phone, and I saw that my buddy Matt had put up a post about the WGA nominations, and I didn't click on it. I was like, oh, okay, they came out. I'm not sure when they came out, but I was editing for a couple hours, and I just saw it. So I want to kind of look at the WGA nominations and kind of react to those and see what you guys think about that, if it's going to change anything. They always have some weird shit going on over there with the ineligibilities and stuff like that. Like last year, my old ass got in, Civil War, what else? Hitman got in last year with Glenn Powell. There's a lot of stuff ineligible every year. I don't really know why, and some people have asked me on previous live streams and stuff, and I'm not really sure. What's up, SCW? I see you. I'm not really sure why, but anyway, so we're obviously not going to get all the major players. For the screenplay this year, I think it's going to play a pretty pivotal role in the Oscar race, but it's going to be adapted for one battle, original for Sinners, right? I mean, that's what I think everybody, 99% of the people out there that pay attention to this are probably saying. And that's what I believe. So I don't think, and those are both eligible here at the WGA. So they're obviously going to get in here. I would literally fall down if neither one of them got in. So I'm assuming both of them got in. I think adapted, all the major frontrunners were still eligible. Although original, there were several that weren't eligible. So, like in looking at my predictions, I picked Weapons to get in there at WGA, and then I rounded out the 5 with Jay Kelly and House of Dynamite because I love that movie. Jay Kelly's Noah Baumbach. Maybe had the CCA mention, and then I had Mary Bronstein's If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, and Twinless from James Sweeney as like Hail Marys. So we're going to take a look and see what they got. But when you look at the Oscars real quick, so I don't think anything that I'm about to look at on here is going to change anything about what I just said in terms of screenplay and ultimately picture. But original, you're not going to have sentimental value. It was just an accident. Blue Moon's not eligible, which is kind of weird. I think Marty Supreme is, though. I think I had that in my predictions for WGA. So I got that here. Let's look at it together. See what you guys say real quick. What's up, Anthony? How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you there. How you doing? Oh, yeah, one battle adapted Sinners original. Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to happen, Anthony went 9 out of 10. So let's see. So don't tell me yet. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if you saw it, but I was just saying I did Marty and Sinners, guaranteed. And then I did Weapons, Jay Kelly, House of Dynamite. And then in adapted, I did One Battle, Hamnet, Begonia, Train Dreams, and Frankenstein, which I think is pretty much the top 5 at the Oscars. And they're all eligible. So any shakeups would be an original, but, I mean, Ryan Coogler's going to win that. I mean, that's Sinners. Hamnet's the biggest threat to One Battle and adapted, but I don't know that anybody's threatening Coogler and Sinners. I really don't. All right, let me pull up the thing real quick, because I have it on my behind the window here so that I couldn't see it. Let me bring it in here and see what got nominated. Is there anything? I don't think there's anything shocking, so let's take a look. There we go. Okay, so I'm looking at it with you guys for the first time here. Black Bag. Oh, good Lord. Okay, sure. Yeah, I love that movie. Wow. I did not expect that. I didn't even have that in my top 8. Wow. Okay. Hey, good for that movie. That came out early, too, right? Was that like January or February that movie came out? Wow. Okay, that's a weird one. So they didn't go for Jay Kelly. They went for Black Bag over Jay Kelly. Baumbach. Wow, that's kind of crazy. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, I had it at my number 6. So that one's not as surprising, but that's really good for Mary Bronstein. I love that. I think this is her first feature, I believe. And obviously been getting a lot of shout outs for Rose Byrne this season, but not much else. So I love to see her show up there. And then you do have weapons in there. Okay, cool. So I got that one. And obviously Centers and Marty Supreme. Okay. How you guys feeling about that? I mean, that's basic, right? I don't think there's anything crazy there. And then Adapted. Let's go down and look at Adapted real quick. I'll check your comments if you got any questions or comments about these or anything else. Or the BAFTAs today, too. Obviously, I did a reaction to that already, but if you guys have any questions. I'm going to do a quick one. My kids are in there playing PlayStation. Who knows what's going to happen in there without supervision. Adapted screenplay. Let's see. Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle, Train Dream. So, yeah, top 5. All right, so literally no surprises at all. I had a wild card there as Ryan Johnson, Wake Up Dead Man, but yeah, that's the 5. So yeah, cool there. Yeah, nobody was picking Black Bag. I can attest to that. And intra LA Christine, is that right? Thanks for being here. Yeah, I did too. You got to imagine that was kind of a surprise though, because that movie came out so long ago, and when I was looking at the possibilities for that, like I didn't even have it in, because I only did 8. I had J. Kelly, House of Dynamite, Weapons, If I Had Legs, F1, and Twinless as those 6 in addition to Marty and Sinners. So I didn't even have Black Bag on my radar, although it is a really good screenplay, a really good movie. So yeah, I was like, that was just weird. I mean, I like it. Obviously means nothing for the Oscars race, you know? And that's what happened last year, too. There was a couple in there that were like, I don't know if they can figure out this ineligibility thing, man. But what's going on, brother? I can't be the man if you're the man, dude. How are you? Thanks for being here. A little midday stream, looking at these. Yeah, same here. Yeah, that was a big one. Looking at these WGA nominations. The rest is what? Oh, I don't even think I did a document. I don't think Award Expert had that in their app, did they, for documentary? It's not on my predictions thing. So I don't even know what I would have predicted there, but let's see. It's 2,000 meters to Andrivica. That's good. Becoming Led Zeppelin, which I think was, I've seen it at my local theater, but I've seen that before, maybe on the BAFTA long list, maybe, but it didn't obviously get nominated this morning. So that one's been getting a couple mentions here and there, and I love Led Zeppelin. I haven't seen that one. It was playing in IMAX near me a couple months ago, but that one got in. And White with Fear, which I got to be honest, I have not heard of. Okay, interesting. So no major surprises there, right? I mean, everything's kind of normal there. Again, I don't think there's any shakeups. I wanted to put my WGA reaction, which is this, in with the BAFTA reaction this morning, but the time frame was too vast. And I didn't want to wait that long to put out my BAFTA video. And with my kids being out of school and stuff, I was like, you know what? I have a chance to do this. Let me just do it. So I figured I would either do a live stream or a quick video for the WGA. But I'm kind of glad I did a live stream. See if you guys have any questions. Because there's no major, shocking reactions for me there. So quick stream to see what's going on over there. I guess you guys saw the BAFTA thing this morning, right? The BAFTAs. BAFTA. Not the long list, but let's see. Awards. Oh, look at my guy there. Film awards. Yep, that's us. If there's anything crazy over here. I mean, I did my reaction. It's on the channel, actually, if you guys want to check it out. And I'll address real quick the Kate Hudson thing because people always misunderstand me. And I feel horrible about it, but at the same time, I don't really want to explain myself. Like, people that know me know that I'm not, a hater, if you will. Let me pull it up real quick. Because, it's not really shocking at this point, Kate Hudson getting in there, because, and I'll pull it up on here, too. Because she's been getting in everywhere. I guess CCA was really the only thing she missed, right? Can you guys see this? You can, right? There she is. There it is. I don't know why it cuts it off, though. Why is it doing that? My screen's not big enough, I guess. But anyway, Jessie Buckley, Rose Byrne, Kate Hudson, Chase Infinity, which I was really thrilled about, and Renate Reinsva. I had, they already updated the app. I had Tessa Thompson and Jennifer Lawrence getting in there. That's part of my issue with the Kate Hudson thing. I love Kate Hudson. I did not like Song Sung Blue, the film. Her performance was good. It was fine. And this is my opinion. This is my personal, preference. You know what I mean? And also the, Nepo baby campaign out of nowhere too kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit, because that movie's not getting anything else, right? I mean, at least the Amy Madigan thing and the Rose Byrne thing, those movies aren't getting anything else, but they started months ago, and they've been on the circuit, they've been campaigning, they've been showing up everywhere. So now that Kate Hudson's present in award season, obviously I'm a believer. I mean, she's here, and she might actually be number 2 for the Oscar at this point, based on what she's been getting. I think the thing that would hurt her, though, is the weakness of that film overall, which is really my issue with it, too. So I love her, and I'm happy for her. I just personally prefer a lot of other performances that would fall in that category. I'm glad Chase got in here at the BAFTA, but, of course, she missed at the Oscars. There's only 5 spots. Amanda Seyfried for Testament of Ann Lee. That's not Kate Hudson's fault by any means. That's really Searchlight's fault. I don't know what happened with that film, but it just missed everywhere, including for Amanda in a lot of places. But she was so good in that. Even though I wasn't super high on the film, she was just really, really good at that, like acting-wise. Tessa Thompson. Jennifer Lawrence is my number 1 performance of the year. And for her to not even get in here is kind of crazy, because they love her historically, and it's a Lynn Ramsey picture. And Lynn Ramsey has a lot of success with the BAFTAs as well. She was on the long list, Die My Love, on a few long lists. So that was weird. I would have loved to have seen that. But yeah, I just wanted to address that real quick, because you guys don't have to hit me in my comments that I hate Kate Hudson. I do hate Song Sung Blue. Well, I don't hate it. I gave it a 6 out of 10. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. But I'm not meaning to come off that way, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm sorry if I do. But I'm going to go over your comments. I'm sorry. I got to keep track of those. I'll scroll back up here a little bit, see if you guys have any questions before I log off here. But I'm fine with it. I've come to terms with it. I'll put it that way. But, every time she shows up, it's not that I'm surprised so much, it's that I'm a little bit more like, oh, Jennifer Lawrence missed again. Or, whatever, Chase Infinity when it was the Oscars. That's more so what it is versus, like, Kate Hudson got in. It's more so XYZ missed versus, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm thinking. So I feel bad about that. But I'm happy for her, and she's definitely the real deal, I mean, she's showing up. And it's Kate Hudson, and she's great. They love her. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, you mean on the WGA? Yeah, me too. Man, I think that was really close to the Oscar nomination, too. I really do. Yeah, I agree with that as well. And Brett also says that he went, what'd you say, 2 for 5? I went 3, I think. Or maybe I went 2 as well. What did I do? No, I went 3 for 5 as well, because I did Weapons, Marty, and Sinners. Jay Kelly didn't get in, and House of Dynamite, which I'm just an apologist for. So I just love that movie. So I wanted to pick that one and Weapons. I would have never, I don't know, did anybody pick Black Bag? Did they have the results on Award Expert yet? I wonder if anybody picked that. I bet that was 0% probably, right? Black Bag, where's it at? Look how far down I have to scroll. 0%. I'm looking on my phone. 0% of the community on Award Expert picked Black Bag to be nominated. So there you go. Movies that were rated above Black Bag on the app were After the Hunt. I'll stop there. I mean, what? Yeah, so, I don't know. Is This Thing On would have been cool. Not get in. Bradley Cooper. Anyway, let's see what other comments you got here. I was going to do a quick stream. I'm sorry. I don't want the, content overload to be hitting you guys. Hopefully you're not getting too tired of me, but I agree, Anthony. I agree. That's kind of what I was just saying. I'm assuming you heard my little diatribe there, but that's what I was just saying. Yeah, Brett, I think people are misinterpreting my reactions, which are in real time, to being mad or being angry, and that's not the case. It's more so like, oh, God, we're doing this again. Like with Annette Bening last year or Jamie Lee Curtis. And by the way, I love all of these actresses that we're talking about. I'm talking about this specific performance or film in some cases. I didn't really like Nyad that much. I did love Everything Everywhere All at Once that year with Jamie Lee, and I didn't like Song Sung Blue that much. And then if you drill it down to the performance itself, if I'm ranking these actresses and their filmography and how much I enjoy them overall, Kate Hudson probably does rank really highly for me among some of those names. But that performance, and this is my opinion, I'm not on the Academy, I'm not on the BAFTAs. It doesn't matter what I think, but I don't like it as much as some of the other ones that were in the race. Jennifer Lawrence is my favorite one of the year, and she got jack shit this season. and that just makes me sad. I just feel like it's a more powerful performance. Same thing with Amanda Seyfried. So it doesn't make me mad, Brett, but I get what you're saying, and I get the different kind of reactions that gets out of people. But like Anthony said, my channel member over there, she's real. She's real. That would be crazy. That would be kind of weird. Yeah, they do international feature, obviously, but that would be funny. The British do their thing over there, man. They're doing what they do. They're doing what they do. Let's see. Ibrahim, I had that in my most anticipated movies of the year video that I did just a couple weeks ago, like mid-January. You can find it here on the channel, I think under my rankings playlist. But I had that on there. I was very excited to see that one. Return for that filmmaker. He's been out of the game for like 10 years or something like that. And then I love a lot of the actors involved. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've seen some of the reactions at a Sundance, which make me even more excited for it. I don't know about it being an awards player necessarily, although they've done some weird shit lately, so it could be. But it sounds like it might be a little too risque and adult, if you will. But even the title might hurt it a little bit when it comes to like the snobby academy, if you will. But I'm excited for it. It was on my top because I think I did 50 movies for that video that I did. And I went through and researched for like a month before I put the video out. And I was just kind of basing it on different actors and directors and, like themes and narratives and plot lines that kind of like interest me. Like, ooh, this sounds really weird. Original, in some cases, or if there were sequels or whatever. So it was on there. It was definitely in my top 50 most anticipated of the year. And after seeing the Sundance feedback, I'm really excited for it too. Let's see. What do you guys got over here? Courageous is in the house. Jeff says, people who think Hudson will surprise are pulling at straws. She strikes me as Annette Bening and Nyad, but doing better with precursor nominations. Yeah, I get the mentality there, and I honestly kind of get the mentality of people think she might surprise. My thing, though, is I don't think she will just because Jessie Buckley's too strong. Right? I don't even know if Kate Hudson would want that. Because, how would that be seen? You know what I mean? Like, that would be really just kind of weird. Because, I feel like Jessie Buckley is, like, almost the consensus, like, okay, we're doing this, and she went to places in Hamnet that were pretty phenomenal. So I don't see that happening either. I guess I could get the argument for it, especially when you factor in the narrative of her history in Hollywood and her folks and all that kind of stuff, but I don't see it happening. She could be 2 or 3, though, which is kind of crazy. That would be really cool, Carl. I would be into that. I would really be into that. It would definitely be a surprise, especially since you could argue Inga is stronger, and they might split votes. So that would definitely be a surprise just on those 2 factors alone. But that category, what I will tell you, is up in the air. Really both supporting categories, but supporting actress, people like to say Teyana this, Teyana that, and she's just running away with it. And she might be. We got to see what happens. But, she might be. If she wins one more, I think she's good. But that hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? So right now, we don't really know that. So I think that category specifically, if Teyana doesn't win one more between now and the Oscars, is up for grabs. I still think Madigan has a great shot at the SAG, even missing here, with her built-in narrative, and it's a performance everybody loves. So I think she's still probably who I would predict at SAG if I was doing it right now, right? BAFTA, you could say, because Inga's not competing with Elle there. So you could say BAFTA goes to Inga for the international influence. I tend to think Wunmi Masaki might win the BAFTA. That's what I think right this second. That's what I have predicted. Of course, that could change tomorrow, but that's what I have right now. So then you have different winners, right? And you have Amy Madigan, who would be the only person with 2, one of those being the CCA. And she's not thought to be a front runner anymore. She missed the crossover here with the BAFTA, so she didn't get in here. So that makes her a little weaker, and it's the only thing Weapons has at the Oscars. So there's a lot of factors that wouldn't normally play in, like you'd be like, yeah, okay, but what about this, this, and this? And you start thinking about the kind of abstract factors that are involved. So I think, unfortunately, Amy Madigan might be out of the Oscar race for a winner, which would put it up in the air with the other 4, though. Really. And Amy Madigan really could still do it. If they love her narrative enough and they get behind that performance enough, I just wonder if it's broadly appealed enough in the Academy, being a horror movie and not showing up anywhere else. That's the only thing that's going to really hurt her. Same thing with Rose Byrne, because Rose Byrne could have really made a push for that prize. She really could have. Because she hasn't missed either, right? I don't think she even got in at the BAFTAs, and that was the only thing for that movie. And now we saw that her director got in at WGA for the screenplay. So that movie is definitely stronger than Songs in Blue overall, in the race. And Rose Byrne's been more active in terms of wins and stuff, especially with the critics groups early in the season, than Kate Hudson has. So Rose Byrne could have made a run for that. She really could against Buckley. But when you're one thing I've learned, it does happen, but it's extremely rare if you're the only nomination for your film. But that by itself, by the way, is rare. But then when that happens and it's an acting performance, it's tough. It's really tough because you got over 10,000 people that, let's just say half of them don't even watch the movie because it's not in their branch, even though they're supposed to before they vote. Doesn't mean they are. I don't know how they're checking that, but so it's just going to be a tough hill for people like Madigan and Byrne to climb, really. But to your point, Elle Fanning has a shot. Sentimental Value is adored and seen across the industry. I saw you earlier, Courageous. How you doing? Thanks for being here. Yeah, Maya, we were just talking about that a little bit. I can believe it just because, and I didn't predict it because I didn't want to believe it, but I kind of, when it happened, I was kind of like, yeah, she missed. I get what you're saying. You're like, oh, it sucks, but I do believe it, though, because of what they do over there. It was the only thing for that movie, and it was a horror performance, Now, had she been British or European, who knows? You know what I mean? I hate to be like that, but just based on what they do over there. And Weapons got on the long list, right, for, what was it, for screenplay, I think, right, at the BAFTAs? I know it was on, or casting, maybe. I know it was on another long list or two over there. So they did like it enough for it to show up in their final 10 in a lot of categories out of 100 movies, I think. So it was possible, and I had her in there. I'm like, yeah, she's going to sneak in. She's adored. She's been in the industry forever. But she didn't. So it's a bummer. I agree. But I am, at the same time, not surprised. Could Delroy Lindo be like Marcia Gay Harden and win supporting actor Oscar without making it at any precursors? This has come up a lot in the last few days, and I even talked to my buddy Brian Rowe about it in the past because he brought it up because he did a video on Marcia. The simple answer is yeah, it could happen. I think that I said this last night when I did a stream. I think it was last night. It's all bleeding together. But if Delroy Lindo does that, if he wins that award, Sinners is like running away with the Oscars this year because that will tell you right away, like, oh my God, that they're voting for it for everywhere they see it. And right now, I think there's a pretty stern divide in the Academy with One Battle and Sinners, and really us as movie fans. I love both of them. We can't lose. I told my buddy that on a podcast on Sunday night. I was like, I don't really care. I can't lose. Really, any of these 10. There's some I like more than others. But this is a great list, a great batch of performers. Like, give it to Sinners, give it to One Battle. I'm happy, But to answer your question, I'll put it back up on the screen. To answer your question, I think it's unlikely, but so was Marcia Gay Harden. So I guess what I'm saying is, yes, it could happen, but I don't think that's something I would be courageous enough to predict because I would need to see the writing on the wall for something like that. But that category is also not as locked up as it would need to be to discount this. This could happen based on how loose that race is too, right? Because what if the One Battle boys split, right? And Benicio and Sean Penn, what if they split votes? I think it's going to be Stellan Skarsgård after winning the BAFTA is going to go on to win the Oscar. That's what I think right now. But I also know that it's only happened 3 times, I think. I'm replaying it in my head, but like 3 or 4 times that an actor did not receive a SAG nomination and then went on to win the Oscar in that category. It's only like 3 or 4 times in Oscars history. Now, remember how I was saying you factor in stuff that doesn't really play into the stats or whatever? What you have to add to that asterisk and why I would still pick Stellan to go against that stat is because they didn't nominate international films for anything at the SAG. So nobody from an international film got over at the SAG, which, by the way, I still don't understand that, especially Sentimental Value being an industry tie-in or whatever in the narrative. So that's why I'm like, that doesn't really matter to me. But when he doesn't get it, if that were to happen, and let's say Delroy or Sean Penn or whatever wins it, right, then I'll go, in the split second, I'll go, yeah, we knew he wasn't going to get that because he didn't get the SAG nomination. So sometimes you just kind of like tell yourself, like overthinking it maybe, that like, well, yeah, he didn't get the SAG, but who did? Unless they were an American film, nobody. So I right now think it's Stellan Skarsgård, but to answer your question, it definitely could happen. There is still a likelihood that it could happen. Yeah, nobody guessed Black Bag Courageous. Nobody. Yeah, I had it at 6. In fairness, Ryan. So I didn't have it in the final 5, but I thought it could definitely be that swap in for what was it? I think House of Dynamite, which was stupid, but I was like, oh, I don't know. I love that screenplay. When I saw that movie, especially before all the hate came out, I was like, this is so good, like written so well, because what Noah Oppenheim, the screenwriter there, which by the way, he's great, other stuff he's done in his career, but what he had to do in that movie, whether you like it or not, is he had to basically write the same movie 3 times. But he had to keep it fresh and unique enough to where it wasn't the same movie. And I know a lot of people's critique of the film was that it was kind of on replay and it didn't hit as hard as the first act with Rebecca Ferguson, which I tend to actually agree with. But overall, I really enjoyed it. And that structure, that narrative structure, which actually is very similar to Weapons too, by the way, the way it's written by Zach Kreger, is not easy to do. I used to write screenplays. It's been a long time. I don't want to date myself, but like 20 years since I wrote one. But that's not easy to do. That's hard to do. I mean, even doing a timeline screenplay where you're going from point A to point Z is not easy, much less if you're going from point A to D and then you have to like go back to A when you hit E, right? And you have to write basically the same thing, or you compartmentalize the story that you're telling. You know, that's not easy. So it was really impressive for films like that this year for me. Appreciate it. I was like, I'm just gonna do a live stream because I don't want to do a reaction video for WGA, because in my head I was like, there's not gonna be any like, what am I gonna do? Like a 5-minute video of me going, okay, yeah, that's cool, that makes sense. All right, cool. See you next time. I mean, so I was like, well, let me just do this real quick. And my kids are actually not screaming right now, so I think they're okay. I do too, Courageous. I think she's in the lead. I do think that I don't know if she can hold the lead though. What I kind of said earlier, and I think you know this about me, Courageous, is if she wins anything else, she's going to win the Oscar. That's what I think. That'll be enough, I think, to put her over with the strength of one battle. But on that reverse side, if she doesn't, and we get to the BAFTA, which is the last award show before they start voting, I believe, and Woonmi wins there in Sinners, which is also equally as strong, if not stronger, based on the 16, right? Or Inga for Sentimental Value, really BAFTA-friendly performance, then what? You know what I mean? Like, let's say Amy Madigan gets the SAG, which I think she will, and then Woonmi or Inga get the BAFTA. Then would you still say she's in the lead? I mean, she very well might be, but I just don't know that I would be as confident at that point to say there was a leader. It would be a 3-way tie, basically, going into the night. That's the way I would view it. Maya says she thinks it's between Taeyana and Woonmi at SAG. Me too, although I think Inga's in the mix too. I think Inga could be a part of that. She's not competing with her co-star in that movie, and that's an international movie that's tied into the industry. So, I mean, that's kind of what I'm basing it on. And it showed up a lot there. So don't forget about her. Don't shortchange her. She could be in the mix too there. I've got Woonmi winning. I think Sinners is really strong, especially, you know, I mean, the BAFTAs even showed up for it in places I didn't think they would this morning. I'm not surprised, Eve. I am bummed. I don't know if you know this about me, but on my performances of the year, she was my #1 for Dime I Love. So I'm bummed. You know, I thought that, much like with Ariana Grande, I thought that her and Jennifer Lawrence might show up at the last like real possible stop that they had. And even if they're not going to win, which I mean they wouldn't have, it would just seeing them on the circuit and at the award show, and you know they're so charming and funny in interviews and like you know just shit like that I'm going to miss. But I was not surprised. I predicted her to get in on the strength of Lynn Ramsey at the BAFTAs typically, and Jennifer Lawrence really. It showed up on like their cinematography list. It showed up on the British film list, I think, right? I think. Director for Lynn Ramsey. So it was on like 4 or 5 long lists for the BAFTAs. And I'm like, okay, well, Jennifer Lawrence is going to get in here. That's great. So in that regard, I'm surprised. But that movie is just so seen as so like not palatable for people. I mean, I get it. I mean, it's not like an easy watch, if you will. But we got some stats here from Courageous. I got to read these because some of my channel members really helped me out. And she's one of them. Let's see. Julianne Moore was her only films nomination, but she swept. All right. Rose, Kate, and Amy aren't sweeping, right? Julianne's win is 12 years old. Okay, was that in regards to, somebody must have mentioned that in the chat and I missed it. But yeah, all that's correct. Yep. That was Old Academy, really. I mean, anything more than like 8, 9 years ago is Old Academy. So, I mean, yeah, there's still people there from that era, but it looks a lot different these days. You know, we wouldn't even be talking about movies like Sinners or Weapons if the Academy was like it was 12 years ago, to Courageous's point. Delroy would need mascot. That would be crazy, and I actually think that could happen. I do. I think it's Stellan's, but I actually think this could happen. The reason I would say this maybe doesn't happen now is because Hamnet missed in a couple places this morning. Did you guys notice that? It missed in, I'm going to get it wrong, I think, but I think it missed in production design, right? And cinematography, maybe? And maybe even another one that I thought it was going to get for the BAFTAs, that it was on the long list. So that's where I go, whoa, wait a second. Maybe Hamnet's not the strongest film at the BAFTAs. Because I actually thought Hamnet could win Best Film at the BAFTAs, kind of like Conclave did. And even though it was number 2 or 3 for the Oscar, probably 3 if you can't think The Brutalist was number 2. So I thought maybe it was going to be a Conclave situation for Hamnet. And then we would still be okay predicting the Oscar, because even though Hamnet wins the BAFTA, it's not going to take over PTA or Ryan Coogler. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I thought, and that could still happen. But that's kind of what I thought was really going to happen before this morning. And Paul Mescal could be a part of that. So I don't disagree with you that that's definitely a possibility. Right now I think Stellan has a slight edge. But if that happened, I wouldn't be shocked. And it would be chaos. And I'm fucking here for it. I am absolutely here for it. Let's see. No one has won SAG 2 years in a row. Yeah, I know. Do you think Leo will win there? Could that and One Battle Industry Love hurt Timothy? I'm curious, but I know you're a fan of his, and I don't know what's going to be a sweep. Yeah, the only asterisk, Christian, thanks for being here again, man. I know you tuned in last night, too. The only asterisk I have for Timothy is the SAG. Otherwise, I would say he's sweeping. I also saw a horrible story about Josh Safdie this morning that I was like, I wish I was dreaming about it, but I'm waiting for that to come to light or whatever's accurate about that story. But you guys can Google it if you want to, but it like just broke, and that might be a controversy for that film. And if it's true, it should be. It's not good. I don't think that hurts Timothy, obviously, because he didn't work on Good Time, which is what the controversy is in reference to. But it's just residual, right? It's like a domino effect. So if people stay away from the movie because of the controversy, then maybe somebody like Leo does win at the SAG, even more so now. And then you have that stat that you're talking about with the back-to-back wins. And my whole concern with this as a fan of Timothy's is the spiraling of it. Because if he loses SAG, it could just be because they don't want to give the same actor the award back-to-back, right? That could be the reason. They could be like, great performance, we loved it, but we just gave him the award. So it's not like he's losing for the performance, or the performance that wins is necessarily better in their eyes or whatever. That could be the reason. We won't know that. So the spiraling of it in the public zeitgeist is what worries me, because then it's like, where does it go from there? When other bodies are voting. I don't know. I thought him and Buckley were really going to be sweepers this year, but the SAG was always an asterisk for me. So, to answer your question, right this second, I'm still predicting Timothy to win it. But if he's not the winner there, it could really be any of them. It really could. Ethan Hawke. Did he get it SAG? He got it SAG, right? Ethan Hawke's got the narrative. Obviously Leo, right? I've been around forever. Michael B. Jordan is in a very strong film. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Let's see here. I haven't seen Kate Hudson's performance. I don't know if you want to ask me. I'll let people in the chat answer that one. I keep getting in trouble. Look, it's a great performance. Okay, it's not her best performance, Kate Hudson, I mean, and it's definitely, almost objectively, I would say, not the best performance in the group, and it's not the best performance that could have gotten in. Now, people are going to hear what I just said, and they're going to say that I don't like the performance, which is not what I'm saying. I just think there's 3 or 4, maybe even more, that are more deserving if you're basing it on their performance. That's what I think. That's just my opinion. So, certain years, performances can get in, if the field's weaker, whatever. I don't think that's the case this year, which is what kind of upsets me about it. There's so many stacked performances in films that could have been represented in that 5th spot. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm not like, upset about it. I just wish it would have gone to a performance that I liked a little bit more. That's all. Oh, okay. Look at this. Scrolls of Dragons. Okay, I'm into that. I'm into that. They love him over there too. He got nominated for Saltburn there, I think, at the BAFTAs, right? I think. Yeah, they love him. So I think he's got nominated for TV over there too, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it missed. It missed a couple, right? So was I right about cinematography as well and production design? So it also missed editing. Yeah. I think sentimental value got in there, right, for editing, which I thought was kind of like, oh, okay, that's weird. I mean, I like it, but it's kind of weird. Oh God, work's texting me. They're like, "Are you coming to work tomorrow?" I can hear it now. I'm about to bring my kids, and one of the things you wear your children or whatever, even though he's almost 7, you know. Let's see. What are my thoughts? What's up, Angelo? How you doing, dog? I haven't seen you in a while, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. I was just talking a little bit about that. Are you talking about Rose Byrne, I guess? I was just talking a little bit about that. She could have done some things this season, I think, if that movie had just been stronger. If it could have just same thing with Amy Madigan and Weapons. If that movie could have just gotten something else when you get to the Academy level, I mean, you know, screenplay, you know, the editing in that film is really good too, by the way. Could have been an editing player. So I think that she's probably the number 2 or the number 3, but I don't think she can win, Angelo, if that's what you're asking me. I just don't think. I mean, Hamnet's going to be across the board, you know, I think, what did it get, 9 nominations, I think? So across the body, whereas Rose is by herself. And that's really what it comes down to. Even if you put the 2 performances next to each other and you think Rose Byrne's better, that's what it comes down to. And I know that sucks, but, you know, it's just like voting. It's like when you're voting for a political office, right? Who's out there? Who's out there campaigning? Who's on TV? Who's in front of the most people, you know, to get their word out? And that's a small movie. We love it. Everybody that watches my channel probably knows that movie, knows her, knows A24, right? My mom has no fucking idea what If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is. She sees 5 movies a year in the theater, maybe, watches a bunch on Netflix and streaming when they hit. She would have no clue. My sister always hit me up for movie recommendations. No idea what it is. And I only say that to say that there's a lot of folks in the Academy, especially when they get a little bit older, that they don't know every single title that comes out. You saw all those ballots about, I don't know what it was just an accident is. What is that? I never heard of it. Stuff like that, you know, and you just go, oh my God, you know. But that's the only issue, you know, that she's going to be facing. Scrolls of Dragons, I'm getting close. But I'm not going to do anything yet. I'm going to wait and see how some of these precursors shake out a little bit. But I am starting to wonder about my own predictions because I have Sinners winning SAG Ensemble, which is essentially their Best Picture prize, right? That's a big one. So I have them winning that, at least right now. And then we already know, I mean, if it had won the Globe, if Hamnet had not beaten it for the Drama Globe, and I don't count the box office award or whatever the hell, then that would have been really big, you know, because then they have the Golden Globe, and if they get the SAG Ensemble, I mean, you're good. I mean, really, you know, precursor-wise, but they didn't. Hamnet got it, and Hamnet could get the BAFTA too, which would make that one really strong as well. I think no matter what happens, though, it's definitely Sinners or One Battle for Best Picture. I don't think I'll ever go off of that unless just some crazy shit just downslays and falls off a cliff in the next couple weeks. I will have to look this up. Actually, I think I might have it on my timeline that I made. Give me a second. But I think what's your question is when the dates for final voting for the Oscars. So the BAFTAs are the 22nd, which I believe is a Sunday. The next day, I think the Oscars start voting, or maybe it's that Wednesday, something like that. Hang on a second. I have it saved on my phone, I believe. So it's like within a couple days after the BAFTAs, and they vote for, I think, 5 or 6 days. And the SAG is on March 1st. And the way the voting is kind of lined up this year, that's what you really, and I'm glad you're actually asking this, because that's what you really have to look at, because I've gotten burned in the past where I'm like, you know, like the Delroy Lindo thing, for example. I've gotten burned in the past where I'm like, oh, he's here we go. It's on, you know. And then guess what? Everybody that I would think he would get in at has already voted. So you have to be careful with that. Let me go down to 2026 here. But I have it on my phone here. It's crazy how many awards things there are. So I'm going to go to February because I kind of want to remind myself of this too. Okay, so the 22nd is the BAFTAs. Oscar voting begins on the 26th, which is a little bit later than I said initially. So that's 23rd, Thursday. So the Thursday after the BAFTAs is when they start voting. And the next day is when the SAG voting ends, the actor awards. So the BAFTAs have a huge influence because they're on the 22nd. SAG voting is open at that time. So the folks that are voting in the actor awards are going to most likely see the BAFTAs, or at least the results, right? And then they're going to vote. Are the speeches powerful enough? Are the wins emotional enough? Surprising enough? You know? If Wunmi wins there, if Inga wins there. We haven't really heard those ladies speak during award season yet. So that would be their moment to really like take over. You know, and a powerful speech can do that. Oscar voting ends on March 5th. So the window for Oscar voting is the 26th through the 5th. In that window, while voting is live, so they're going to have already had the BAFTA. While the voting is live, they're going to get the results for the PGA. They're going to get the results for the SAG Awards on March 1st. And that's it. While voting's open, I mean. That's big time shit. That is a huge, the last week of February, early March, that is a huge week for who wins and who gets stage time. You know? And you know, a lot of your Oscar predictions, if you wait that long to make them or when you change them or whatever, can hinge on that week, really. Like, I could really wait and not do anything until that week. Really. Well, maybe I should do that next year instead of 10 months of it. But I could just be like, okay, what happened? And I could be like, all right, 1 + 1 is 2, and this is this, and that's that. And there we go. And I can make just as close as a prediction on that week alone that they're voting on the Academy Awards based on all that shit that's happening, in addition to the precursors that we have, and make probably the same predictions that I've been making for the last 10 months, you know? So it's a puzzle that you're trying to put together, but that's going to be a big week. I hope that answered your question, though. I have that calendar saved on my phone. I do agree with this. I think that may have happened, but do you guys think, and I love Timothy, as you guys know, would you guys put A Complete Unknown and Marty Supreme in the same world as those two with Hanks? I don't know that I will. I feel like those two are like legendary in cinema history, and maybe Timmy's will be too. But obviously, they're, you know, one of them's still out, so I mean, you can't really say that yet. So maybe they will be too in 20 years. But I don't know. I just feel like those two performances. Yeah, it could be when they hit me too. I graduated high school in '94. Dating myself, but that was really, you know, Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption. A couple years later, we got Scream and Good Will Hunting and Titanic, and right, that was like the mid '90s was like when I turned into what this in the mid '90s with films like that. So, you know, Tom Hanks was like, you know, my Marlon Brando in the mid '90s, and maybe that's why I'm a little skewed in my view of that. But I just don't know that those performances would hold up to those two. You know, if they do that for Timothy this year, and I hope they do because I love him, but if they do that for Timothy this year, they're basically saying that's the first actor, I should say, that would garner that type of notoriety as somebody like Tom Hanks. Yeah, Robert. Yeah, I think so, man. I'm sorry. I think so. I already thought she had a long hill to climb up. Yeah, so Courageous, you just saw that. Yeah. Oh, I see that you had to run out on your. I see you had to run out on your for your break there. Don't get in trouble. Yeah, the Josh Safdie news is not good. Not good. You know. I mean, I don't really want to like commentate on it too much on this stream because I don't know all the details yet, and I don't know like what's insinuated or what's been proven or any of that stuff. But it's not good. It doesn't look good at all, and it makes me upset. And I hope it doesn't ruin Timmy's chances when you're talking about award season, but also when you're talking about these, like, sexual assaults or underage women or, whatever, however you want to phrase it. It's always much more important than anything to do with movie awards. So, and, the dude's a director. I mean, the dude's running a film set. You got to know stuff. I mean, if you ask me, one of the bare minimum things that you have to know is how old your cast is. I mean, it's not like you're asking for a whole lot to have that information. So, I don't know. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Let's see. I'm sorry hang on a second. I'm sorry. Let me read this properly. I'm sorry, but this nonsense about Madigan not being British or European, so many categories went 5 for 5 at the Oscars. It's already a travesty with the American domination at the BAFTAs. Yeah, that was a lot. I actually didn't put Marty Supreme, which funny that we're just talking about Safdie, but I actually didn't put Marty Supreme in the best film 5 at the BAFTAs because I thought that was too much America. I don't know if you saw my stream in the last night. I think I did that, but I didn't put it in there because I'm like, that's too many like U.S. films. That's like the top 5 for the Oscar that got nominated for best film. You guys know that, right? Maybe Frankenstein, maybe if you switch that with Marty, but that's probably the top 5 for the Oscar, right? A lot of America in there, so I agree with you there. When it comes to Madigan, I don't think she didn't get in because she's not British. I just think had she been British, it may have increased her chances a little bit. That's all I mean. Of course, I don't know because she's not British, so I have no fucking idea. But, some actresses got in that I think are great. Is Carey Mulligan British? They love her. She gets in fucking no matter what, and I love her too. So I'm not mad about it, but she got in. Emily Watson, right? She's British. She got in. Actresses that haven't really been showing up a lot this season got in at the BAFTAs. So they do tend to, at least nudge those folks a little bit more. So that's why I thought maybe Amy Madigan might suffer a little bit there. But you may have seen it. I still had her in. I thought she was going to get in. I think the performance and the fact that that movie showed up on other lists, to me, told me it was strong enough for her to get in. And of course, that didn't happen. Oh, you're good, man. You're good, Angelo. I got you. Thanks for showing up as always, brother. LOL. Oh, man. Wait a minute. People are comparing Hudson to Chastain. Are you talking about the eyes of Tammy Faye? Yeah, I guess I could see that. I don't know that that was like a dominating year, though, because I feel like Jessie Buckley's like a dominant choice this year to win. I mean, we'll see, but I just don't see anybody beating Buckley right now. I really don't. Even with a surge like Kate Hudson's having. What up, Steve? Back together again, man. That Kate Hudson nomination made me go, yeah, I like your emoji there. I'm tired. Do you think she was 5 or 6 for the BAFTA? Oh, Kate Hudson? Who was it? She got in and Chase got in, right? That's a good question. Could you imagine if the BAFTAs had been before the Oscar nominations, though, which they usually are? Because then what would, because then Chase and Kate were both in. So what would people be? I mean, I picked Chase, I know that, but, I think it would have definitely made more people predict Kate Hudson than we're doing it on Oscar nominations morning. I mean, I know my buddy Matt had it predicted. I think Clayton Davis had it predicted, but then he changed it last minute. Like, there were a handful of people on the next best picture team. But most people were like, yeah, Chase is in the stronger movie. Kate doesn't have anything else. Let's not be crazy. But the Oscar they were crazy. So, I don't know. I guess if I had to answer there, I would probably say Kate was probably 5 because she got in at the Oscar. That's what I would say. Okay, she got makeup too over there. Did I, Anthony? I never do that to you, brother. Let me go back up then, because I'm at the end here anyway, and I'm about to wrap up. Let me see what Troll says here real quick. I wanted to say that I'm not a Delroy hater, but I think Delroy instead should have gotten an Oscar nomination for The Five Bloods. Yeah, I agree. That was a big snub for sure, without a doubt. What did I miss, Anthony? Let me go back to a couple of these in case I missed some. The only way I will predict Sinners to win the Oscars is if Sinners wins both BAFTA and PGA. It's got to win both. I think it's going to get SAG Ensemble, and I think it probably will get PGA. And that's what I'm kind of like. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm going on right now. I don't know. I also keep telling myself they're basically going to be tied on Oscars night, and essentially the tiebreaker is going to be Best Picture. And you think back to a movie like Moonlight, kind of upsetting in the 0 Hour or La La Land in a very dramatic fashion, by the way, with the envelope situation. But it wouldn't be an upset on that level of an indie beating a big budget or whatever. But still, I just see a lot of similarities in the way it's kind of shaking out, because it's like the levee's got to break a little bit at some point. And I keep telling myself PTA's got director and he's got screenplay, especially the Oscars, so they're not in the same category. So he's got two. The other thing could be, does Coogler get director and then One Battle gets picture? But I wonder if the Academy is going to be mindful enough to do a split there. I'm actually waiting to see Ryan Castleman's breakdown when he puts on the lab coat and does it. I'll be interested to see how that data kind of shakes out there. What else did you say, Anthony? You said you found the Safdie story. Yeah, brutal. Yeah, oh, here we go. Here's another one. You switched out Hamnet for One Battle to win Best Film at the BAFTA. Oh, okay. So you had taken Hamnet out. You thought it was the winner, but you took it out. So you think One Battle's going to win there? Yeah, Hamnet missing a couple of those categories like editing and cinematography, I think, maybe production design too, kind of gave me pause a little bit. If it had gotten in out to all the places that I thought it was going to get into, I would have left it probably as my winner at the BAFTA. But it would have been a conclave situation where it wouldn't have affected my Oscar predictions. I just think that would be the BAFTA saying this is our BAFTA movie, And it probably will still win British film, which Conclave also did, I think. So it got both last year. Okay, so what time is it? It's 5:30. Okay, so I'm going to go get dinner ready for my kids and stuff. Let's see. I got a couple confirmations here. Carey Mulligan was born in London. Okay. I thought she was British, but I was like, I always say I think because I'm not checking it, and I want to be like, am I remembering that wrong? Where all the Americans are Scottish, English, or Canadian. Yeah. I love Carey Mulligan. Man, Promising Young Woman. I wish she'd gotten more that year for that film. It's one of my favorite films of this century, honestly. I love that movie. Emerald Fennell, I'm an apologist for her. I love her. Let's see. Sonny Bear, how you doing? Welcome back. Someone finally explained it to me, and while I would be mindful of certain publications that had names and stuff, that really makes me uncomfortable. Are you talking about the Safdie thing? Yeah, it always, and again, that's why I said I don't really want to comment too much, because it's literally brand new, and I just read about it an hour ago, and of course it's going to develop over the next several days. But it is always interesting to me how these controversies and stuff come out that are technically so old, because that's from Good Time, which, how old is Good Time? That movie's 8 or 9 years old, right? I think. And it's the Oscars race, That part's always weird to me. But kind of like what I was saying before, if there's victims involved, underage girls involved, that kind of thing, award season doesn't matter. If this is real, Josh Safdie, that should not have happened. Especially the Safdie brothers are together. So you really got two directors running that set. And you don't know how old the people that are, and plus they have laws, right? Hollywood, has laws about underage people working on set, and so unless the person blatantly lied about it or whatever, I don't know how you wouldn't fact check that, And that's what kind of upsets me about it, is that it should have been easily avoided if it's true. It's brutal. Yeah, it's brutal. And if you want to look at it from the kind of shallow perspective of award season of movies, which is not the important part of this, but if you want to look at it from that angle, that could hurt Timothy, who had nothing to do with that, really. The residual effect of it could hurt him. So that's a shame too, if that ends up happening. But anyway, I'll read more about it so I can be a little more educated on it, if I stream in the coming days. But I just read about it a while ago, and I was like, oh my God, this is not good. So see how it develops over the course of the next few days. But yeah, you guys can Google Josh Safdie Good Time controversy, and I'm sure it'll pop up, because I think today is the date that actually the story broke, on page 6 and some other stuff. So if you Google it, it'll probably be top of the Google list. What up, Smash? Channel member in the house. I was glad you did. I thought about you, actually. I thought about you because you asked me last night if it was going to be Mulligan or Watson, and I said maybe both. I'm streaming, buddy. Come say hey to everybody. It's my kid. Come say hey. Show him what you're doing. He's doing. Oh, I'm on the circle though. You want to make it full screen? So this is my 7-year-old Luke, and look what he's got. His PlayStation. His PlayStation. I'll give you more time, buddy. I'm about to wrap up. Okay. All right, so I'm going to wrap up. But yeah, I told you I thought both might get in. Luke, who do you think is going to win at the BAFTAs, the British Oscars? Are you into that? The world is watching, brother. Let them know. You don't know, do you? Do the Benicio from One Battle. All right. All right, let me go take care of these kids, guys. Thanks for tuning in this midday stream. I know it's weird, but I was like, I don't want to do a WGA reaction of me just like reading the website. So I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll be back soon. My best picture, top 10 rankings of the best picture nominees will be out on Friday. It'll be up early for channel members. And then I don't think there's any other award season precursors this week. I don't think. And maybe you guys will go back to school sometime in 2026. What do you think, Luke? Maybe? No, you'll just be out of school the rest of the year? All right. Okay. Well. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon out here in the garage. I appreciate you tuning in. All right. Say bye. Say bye. Can you say bye?
Bye.
Bye.